So many people dream of stumbling upon a place untouched by time, but very few imagine that such a place still exists, scattered like emeralds across the Indian Ocean. If you've ever wondered what survives out there on the edges of the world, far from continents and predators and human noise, here's a truth that feels almost forbidden. The Maldives is home to species that exist nowhere else on Earth. And once you understand how they came to be here, and why some may not survive the next century, you'll never look at an island the same way again. The story starts with a puzzle. Imagine thousands of coral atolls so remote that for millions of years, animals and plants had no choice but to adapt or disappear. Over time, evolution sculpted species so unique they might as well be characters from a fantasy novel, each with a hidden talent shaped by isolation. And you'll probably never guess which species is responsible for one of the most unexpected ecological partnerships in the Indian Ocean. Let's start with one of the Maldives' most overlooked inhabitants, the Maldives Garden Lizard. At first glance, it looks like a typical agamid lizard basking in the sun. But here's the twist. This species has evolved a striking color change ability that helps it blend into the coral rubble and tropical vegetation around the islands. What makes it remarkable isn't just its camouflage, but the role it plays in controlling insect populations on islands too small for larger predators. It's nature's quiet little guardian, keeping balance in places where one shift in the food chain can unravel everything. Then there's the Maldivian Flying Fox, a fruit bat with a 6-foot wingspan that glides across the islands like a silent kite at dusk. You might assume a creature this large would dominate the islands, but its real superpower is gentler than you'd expect. It's one of the Maldives' main pollinators, responsible for spreading the genetic lifeblood of native trees between atolls separated by miles of open ocean. Without it, many coastal forests simply wouldn't exist. It's a reminder that sometimes the biggest species on an island chain survives not by strength, but by becoming the one thing the ecosystem can't function without. But if you really want to see adaptation at its weirdest, look no further than the Maldives Clownfish, a relative of the famous orange and white species we all know. Except this one evolved to thrive in shallower, calmer lagoon waters. Its partnership with local sea anemones is so specialized that moving it even slightly outside its native lagoon can throw the whole relationship off. What scientists love about this fish is how the Maldives' isolated reefs became evolutionary playgrounds, forcing species to customize themselves to hyper-specific conditions. It's like each atoll wrote its own tiny rulebook for survival. The Maldives Anemonefish has a story shaped by storms. Years of storms. The region's frequent monsoons push certain reef species to either adapt quickly or vanish. And this anemonefish developed stronger site fidelity, meaning it clings to its chosen anemone home with almost obsessive devotion. It's a relationship so intense that when a monsoon threatens, the fish doesn't flee. It doubles down. Scientists believe this unusual loyalty evolved because the reefs here are fragmented, and losing your home base could mean never finding another. If you prefer mystery, there's the elusive Maldives bubble snail, a tiny sea slug so delicate it looks like it was designed from soap film. What makes it special is its bioluminescent sheen, soft, almost ghost-like, used to confuse predators in the shallow lagoons. This is a creature that lives in a world just inches deep, where survival depends on timing the tides and disappearing at the exact right moment. Hundreds of tourists walk over the sand where it hides, unaware that one of the planet's rarest mollusks may be just inches below their feet. Then there's the Maldivian white-breasted water hen, a bird that learned long ago that flying is, well, pretty much optional when you rule an island. With few natural predators, this water hen struts around like it owns the place. And in many ways, it does. Its call is the soundtrack of the atolls. So iconic that locals say you can't truly understand Maldives' dawns until you've heard its cry echo through the coconut palms. It's honestly one of the clearest examples of island tameness. When danger disappears, confidence evolves. Equally bold, yet far more private, is the Maldives island gecko, a species that has, mastered nighttime camouflage. Its skin reflects moonlight in a way that makes it nearly invisible against the limestone walls of traditional island homes. This evolutionary trick is a perfect response to centuries of nighttime predators like owls and herons. But the real plot twist. Locals unknowingly built homes using materials that match the gecko's natural environment, allowing it to survive alongside people, almost like a secret roommate. Among corals, the Maldives brain coral stands out, not just for its shape, but for its function too. This coral is unusually resilient to the Maldives' warm, shallow waters, and has become a sentinel species scientists watch closely. Its survival patterns offer clues about which reefs might withstand future ocean warming. Think of it as the island chain's biological fortune teller, mapping the possibilities of the reef's future one polyp at a time. And then there is the tiny but mighty Maldives damselfish, whose territorial behavior would put some large land animals to shame. In these isolated reef pockets, this fish aggressively farms and defends its patch of algae, a behavior so advanced that researchers compare it to underwater agriculture. The Maldives' scattered geography forced this species to become a micromanager of its environment, proving that the smaller the home range, the smarter the defense strategy must be. But the most astonishing endemic species might be the one tourists almost never see: the Maldivian skink, a reptile that evolved shorter limbs and smoother scales to move quickly between coarse coral sands. The islands gave it little room for error: exposed environments, few shelters, and intense heat. So it streamlined itself into a reptilian bullet that survives by being everywhere and nowhere at once. What ties all these species together isn't just their uniqueness, it's their fragility. The Maldives sits barely above sea level. Rising oceans, coral bleaching events, and coastal erosion are threatening species that have never known another home. It's the ultimate paradox. The same isolation that crafted these creatures now makes them vulnerable. And that's the twist most people don't expect. The Maldives isn't just a postcard paradise. It's a living laboratory of evolution, an unfolding story of survival where every species is a chapter and the ending is still being written.